In the dazzling, high-tech arena of live television, where every smile is rehearsed and every word is polished for the public, there are rare moments that shatter the entire script. And on that night, at exactly 8:12 p.m., the first unexpected crack appeared in Ivanka Trump's perfect, spotless public image. Miles Kimel, usually known for his lighthearted satire and spontaneous jokes, had come prepared for something completely different. The audience was still trying to figure out if this episode would be a friendly conversation or a collision, when the camera zoomed in on Ivanka's face, her practiced smile, her graceful posture, and that signature composure she is known for. Ivanka believed she was skilled at bending the direction of questions, wrapping complex issues in soft, elegant language, and dissolving criticism with a smile. But the comedian sitting across from her had not come to joke. He had come to lift questions seriously and let answers collide with reality. The massive Washington, D.C. auditorium was already thick with anticipation. The lights were so bright that every tiny reaction on their faces was clearly visible. Ivanka began with her usual calm confidence. She spoke about how under her father's leadership, America had moved toward prosperity, security, and opportunity. With a gentle, self-assured voice, she said that Washington historically chooses sides, but her father chooses people, and that while the media focuses on negativity, she chooses to focus on the beautiful reality of the American dream. She arranged her words so smoothly that for a moment it felt as though only her perspective existed on that stage, and everything else was just an echo. But Miles Kimel had been waiting, not smiling, not joking, just listening carefully. And when his turn finally arrived, he lifted his microphone slightly and looked straight into Ivanka's eyes as he said, "Grace does not mean you get a holiday from tough questions, and patience does not mean the truth can be postponed indefinitely." The audience shifted in their seats, some leaning forward as if they could feel the air changing temperature. Miles spoke in a calm but firm voice, "You talk about negativity as if it's some kind of ghost, but what Americans deal with every day in their homes is not a ghost. It's real. Rent and medical bills, shrinking opportunities, rising responsibilities. This isn't noise, it's life." A few people inhaled sharply. Others half attempted to clap, but the tension was so thick that even the applause felt scared. Ivanka responded quickly with a smile, "Your passion is admirable, but you have to remember you live in Hollywood. The world looks very different from a penthouse or a studio lot. The problem isn't that people aren't struggling. The problem is that you often read their emotions through the lens of anger and misunderstanding. Your words have energy, but they also carry a distance from reality." It wasn't an insult, but it was a sharp edge aimed directly at the persona sitting across from her. The camera zoomed in on Miles. A tiny, almost invisible smile appeared on his lips, as if he had been waiting for this moment. He said, "It's interesting that you say I'm distant from reality, when everyone watching this show knows that the stories I bring forward come from the same Americans you say are thriving." But then he paused and delivered the line that shifted the entire room. He said, "If we are talking about truth, then a simple question needs to be asked. You just said leadership means understanding and addressing the real struggles of people. Then why does the audience feel that the picture you present often leaves out the harsh truths they live with every single day?" This question wasn't personal, but it hit the foundation of her claims. It was a safe yet devastating strike, the kind that shakes a public image without crossing a line. For a moment, Ivanka's face went still. Her smile tightened by just a millimeter. The shine in her eyes paused for a second. It wasn't that she didn't have an answer. It was that the question had stepped outside her prepared script. She took a deep breath and said, "The truth is never of one color. If I see America in a positive light, it's not because there are no problems, but because I choose to focus on solutions. That is my perspective, and I believe it inspires people rather than frightens them." A few light sounds of approval rose from the crowd, but Miles did not retreat. "Inspiration is good," he said, "but inspiration is effective only when it doesn't cover reality but acknowledges it. Do you believe positivity is meaningful only when it stands on the foundation of truth?" The room was so quiet you could almost hear the hum of the camera lens. Ivanka looked briefly at the camera, then back at Miles, as though deciding how deep she should go without harming her image. She said, "Yes, acknowledging reality is essential, but reality isn't only struggle. Opportunity is also part of reality. And I have seen my father fight again and again for those opportunities, whether people misunderstand him or criticize him." Her words seemed to stir a small wave of support in the audience. Miles nodded slightly, then said, "Well said. But many people sitting in this very room feel that their real problems sometimes get lost under the banners of big achievements. Leadership is not just the big picture, but the concerns of those who are struggling to become part of that big picture." It was a statement not meant to attack but to challenge, and that made it powerful. For a few seconds, the stage fell into silence. Ivanka gently rotated the microphone in her hands, as if searching for a bridge between positivity and truth that wouldn't crack her composure. She said, "Miles, I respect your question. And it's also true that no leader is perfect. Not my father, not me, not anyone. But if there's one thing we've done, it's that we have never stopped trying. And that spirit is the real heartbeat of America. A heartbeat that doesn't stop even in the face of challenges." This time the applause was fuller, deeper, more genuine. Miles didn't back down either. He said, "I may disagree with you, But I appreciate your honesty. And if this stage has shown us anything tonight, it's that conversation, no matter how difficult, is the first step toward solutions. The camera slowly pulled back, showing the two of them on the stage. One standing firm in her beliefs, the other testing her strength through question. No hero, no villain, just two perspectives, one bright stage, and a nation that rewrites its story every night on television. And please like the video and subscribe to the channel.